well, obviously the Immortals is the blue side still, and they're going to be starting down south. That's not good, not necessarily. And yoe IRONMEN as the yellow team, of course, starting to the north, with which, although it's been a lot more balanced than it used to during the open season, but still the north certainly does give you a defensive advantage compared to the south.
Yeah, definitely. As long as you go for the city area,
exactly,
you should be fine. But look at that, the tank lineup from both these teams being exactly the same, except only one tank is different. On the Immortal side, they actually went with an extra IS-3, whereas on the yoe IRONMEN side, they went with another TV5.
And a very interesting split here coming from yoe IRONMEN. They're committing 2 of their tanks to the railroad, probably their 2 T1s to the forest, whereas their 3 well, I'm not sure about the exact tank setup, but still 3 heavy tanks towards the trapezoid kind of building complex within the city to the west, of course. Smack in the middle of the map, you've got 2 tanks right next to the railroad tracks to cover any push on that front, and you've got finally the T1s here to the forest to the east. And
actually, I like this setup.
This is a great setup.
I mean, they have the option of pushing.
There's no hole.
Yeah, they have the option of pushing down the city. They have the option of even going for the railway if they wanted to. You know, they can also defend the eastern part of the map as well. So really, anything that the Immortals throw at them at this point, they'll have an answer to it. You know, and right now, since they don't have any vision on the Immortals, I'm expecting them to send at least one of their T1s down
a little bit,
and then maybe the T1 can actually spot some of those Immortal members, because all those Immortal members are over there on the eastern part of the railway. I mean, they're all...
That is very unconventional.
Yeah, very unconventional.
It's very unconventional. They're actually...
Oh, they spotted too.
Yeah, they almost go for a forest push, which, needless to say, even from the northern starting position is suicidal, but really I am not... I'm very surprised, actually, at the Immortals' play right now. I really expected them to go to the city, like we've always seen them do. But this is completely, well, I wouldn't go as far as call it mental, but it's kind of hard to understand what they're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, and they did spot one of those heavy tanks cross the railway into the eastern side.
Right.
So they also know that the Immortals are going for something on the eastern side of the map. And they're actually repositioning their tanks to go for the city right now, because they realize that eventually the Immortals are most likely going to come up from the eastern side of the map. So might as well position yourselves facing that front, and then, you know, putting yourself in the best possible position.
Exactly, and still stay undercover. I mean, now they own the city. They own the city, and honestly, whoever owns the city owns the map. Here.
All right, yeah. So the Immortals they're still over there on the southern side of the map. They really want to go for the push. Actually, I don't know if they're actually trying to go for the push, or if they're expecting yoe IRONMEN to push through the city. Because if yoe IRONMEN push through the city, you know, although the Immortals will be at a disadvantage there in that situation, maybe they're just scared of a frontal engagement with yoe IRONMEN. I mean, that could be because they are 2 sets of love, so maybe they're just playing extremely passive, you know, and trying to avoid conflict, you know, for as long as possible.
Exactly.
Maybe. I mean, yoe IRONMEN, they're slowly creeping on more south. They have sent they're 3 heavy tanks more towards the center of the map. Toward that center kind of a trapezoid housing area. They're still over there in the area. So
I mean, nobody's budging at the moment.
Yeah,
really. I think just, you know, I mean,
no
both
movement.
teams, exactly. I mean, because neither team is deciding to push. You know, I mean, obviously they can't know that at this point, but yoe IRONMEN, the more they progress south of the city, the more they're going to have the advantage at this point, really.
Yeah.
Not for a capture, but as long as they remain in control of the city, they've got the advantage whether they attack or defend. At this point, it's really up to them, I'd say, more than anything else at this point. Really, I mean, it's just like, yeah, because what the Immortals, even if the Immortals like go for a forest push, say, when they come out of cover to try to capture the northern base, they're going to be completely compromised. And then, needless to say, they'll have trouble defending their own base as well. So I really think that yoe IRONMEN, and right now, you know, they're sending their T1s all the way down.
Yeah, and I mean, yoe IRONMEN are also 2 sets of love up right now, so they can afford to do something risky. I mean, they are sending their T1s down. You can see that as we speak.
I think as soon as they find out that the base is empty,
once
they're
they
going to
realize no one's down there,
right.
they're definitely going to go for something. And maybe just keep one of these AMX-50s up here on the northern edge defending their base. That's what I would recommend. Is just keep one of those AMX-50s up at the base, because if you go for a push, then you can use the although you can't get as many shots as you would like to, you can still get some shots down the railway.
Okay, so
once
the T1s have spotted each other at this point, so yeah, it's okay. Student Yaya or Sirius? Who's gonna make it?
Sirius.
Sirius?
No, Sirius is gonna die. Yeah.
See, you called it when he was down to 60 hit points.
No. Like I said Sirius first.
No, that's not true. I called Sirius. All right. Anyways, so now they realize that the base has been virtually deserted. What I would recommend for yoe IRONMEN to do is to still leave 1 or 2 tanks towards the railroad. If they decide to go for a sudden push, I'd recommend splitting their forces, pretty much, sending their heavier tanks, like combine it pretty much, because they still have like 3 MX-50s. That's a lot of firepower.
Yeah,
so
no, I'll send a KV-5 and then two
MX-50s, maybe?
2 KV-5, 2 MX-50s. Or no. Yeah, 1 KV-5, 2 MX-50s down the city, and then 1 AMX-50
down the railway,
and then a KV-5 just down the railway.
Yeah, exactly.
With the KV-5 in front.
Yeah. You still need a KV-5 to protect those 50-100. I agree with you, but if they went for a 3 and 2 push, I really think they could overtake the southern position.
Definitely. I'm actually surprised they're not using the T1s more here. They have both of them down the southern edge.
Because they really do think that somebody's still down there and is about to take them out. So that's probably why. I think it's paranoia that's freezing them. And besides, like you said yourself, this is the Immortals set to win, not theirs to lose. I mean, they can definitely afford to take the risk. I don't really understand why they're waiting so long. We're already down to 3 minutes and 20 seconds here. But if they want to accomplish something, they're going to have to move now. And I think they are. Well, no, actually they're retreating. This is very odd.
Yeah, they're actually repositioning because they're expecting a push to come out from the Immortals. I mean, they'll know that the Immortals aren't going to go for a push if they
see, they're just like,
T1s.
okay, yeah, no, okay, just to tell our viewers here, because obviously they don't have access to the observer, but at the moment, yoe IRONMEN are all positioned back to their northern starting position, and at the same time, their 2 T1s are still alive all the way down to the southwest, so west of the Immortals position. So right now, it's going to be very difficult to see an engagement. I really think that yoe IRONMEN was banking on the last-minute push from the Immortals. From the forest, which is why they retreated and still left their 2 T1s for a sneaky base capture a minute down. But it's not happening, so you know what, the way I see it, we're going to go for a replay.
Yeah, quite possibly. There's about 2.5 minutes remaining here.
I don't see neither team engaging.
Have completely backed off. They've made it way back to that northern edge of the map, and the Immortals are also playing extremely passive right now. They're way down in the southern part of the railway, and for these teams to engage each other, they have to be moving out. I mean, sometime in the next probably 30 seconds if we want to see any form of engagement. And even the T1s now are slowly kind of moving back, and yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm surprised that yoe IRONMEN aren't actually using those T1s more. They can afford to lose. I'm
surprised yoe IRONMEN didn't go for it altogether, because they're leading to the love, like you said, right? And besides, they own the city. That's what I'm saying. They owned the city, so they clearly had the advantage. At least they should have tried poking their heads out of cover down south and see who was there, pretty much. And I'm just sort of a trifle disappointed they didn't risk more, because you know what? If we do replay this, and it looks like we will, then there's absolutely no guarantee that the Immortals are going to go to the forest this time around. So they might not get back the opportunity of owning the inner city like they're doing right now. So I think it's more of an opportunity wasted than anything else.
They are going for an extremely aggressive rush, and now all of their tanks are moving over here right now.
Right, but with only a minute to go.
I mean, if they can get vision, if they can focus on one of those tanks, I mean, it could result in a victory. And since they also got a T1 down, I mean, that's just going to make it a little bit easier for them. I mean, definitely they'd have to be way more aggressive than this, because this is not nearly enough. They have to, just rush in there, guns blazing without any vision on them, because there's just not enough time. It's really not enough time.
I really do think we're going to go for a draw, mate.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like with 40 seconds at this distance, okay, fine, they spotted each other, but so what? I mean, they're too far away from each other to just get significant damage. About 30 seconds now, unless one of these teams take an unnecessary risk. I don't see them really just taking down a tier 8 tank at this point. In terms of tier points, we're dead even here, obviously, because only a T1 went down on both sides. But
yeah, it looks
that's
like
pretty
it's
much
gonna be a draw. Yeah, it's gonna be a draw.
that's all it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and Rero's taking a little bit of damage, but just, yeah, way not enough time.
Okay, well.